Okay, let's hear from a few more people. You can join the discussion on our Discord at davidpakman.com/Discord. Let's go next to Marcus from Manitoba. Marcus, you are on the air.
Hello, David.
Oh,
Uh,
hello.
my question for you is why do you think uh, all of these self-identified left-wing populists, prominent left-wing populists uh, online and in real politics, have tended to go in a similar direction over the course of their political careers? I'm thinking people like your friend and mine, Tulsi Gabbard and Jimmy Dore
Hmm.
and Matt Taibbi, uh, tending to go in a similar direction of, uh, you know, kind of being receptive to Russian, friendly towards Russia, uh, kind of uh, repeating or tending to be uh, uh, promoting kind of narratives similar to the kind of things that we see on the right coming from Trump and such. Why do you think this is? What is causing this?
I really don't know. I don't think there is one answer. Like, for example, if we were to just say these faux left wing populists are doing this because of money, for example, maybe to some degree. For some of them, I don't know that there really is that much money in it, so I don't think that's really the explanation. Um, Maybe it's for attention. I mean, attention is linked to money. Maybe some of them are like, I just kind of blend in if I just do actual leftism. So I'm going to do this kind of wacky reactionary faux populist thing. Maybe that's kind of a factor. Another part might be some of them might actually have been confused about what their actual politics are. And maybe they thought they were on the left and then they realize they're actually kind of not. And they make that more clear in their public pronouncements. Um, I, I don't think there's one answer, but it is weird because it's like you could just say you're on the right. You don't really have to
Yes,
claim to be on the left, but have reactionary positions. You can just be, and look, Tulsi's being welcomed at CPAC now. So clearly there's
exactly.
space for them on the right. I don't know that I have one answer.
Well, I do have my own personal theories
Okay.
about why this is.
Yeah,
It may be controversial, given
please.
that I know that previous callers have voiced uh, sort of opposing opinions about populism. That I recall someone said something like, "Oh, Trump. Why is Trump called a populist? Trump isn't a real populist.
Right.
Right-wing populism isn't real populism." I think that gets something fundamentally wrong. It sort of presupposes that populists or populism requires being honest about your populist beliefs. I don't think it does.
Right.
I think populism is a rhetorical tool primarily. Well, or rather, like there are different definitions of populism, right?
No, but
Some
I think you're
definitions of
right. I mean, I've commented before. The reason populist rhetoric can be so tricky is that there can be any policy underneath it, and the populism itself is not
exactly.
policy. And like the great example was, you could have Bernie and Tucker similarly saying, we've got a real problem here where the middle class is being taken advantage of. And we've got to support the middle class. We need to make sure that legal infrastructure and all this stuff supports the middle class. Bernie would have one solution, and Tucker would be like, and it's brown people coming from Mexico that are the
Yes.
problem. Right? So
Yeah.
so I think that you're getting exactly at what I've said for years.
Yes. And I mean, I think there's a substantive difference between people who are both called populists, like Bernie and Carlson. Uh, or I don't think Tucker has any plans to. Well, he obviously has no actual policy proposals that could solve the problems he's talking about,
Right.
whereas Bernie might. Although I'm also somewhat skeptical that he is really all that pragmatic. whatever. I still like Bernie Sanders,
Sure.
but uh, I do think that uh, what unites them both is, and what unites all strands of populism is primarily the rhetoric that it
Yes.
uses.
Yes. And I
And
think and here's where there will be some who will disagree with one of the things that you're saying. There are some who will hear what you're saying and they'll go, well, Tucker's not really a populist. He's actually a privileged elitist right winger. But I think the point you're making is there's really no
doesn't matter.
such thing as a populist. Populism is a rhetoric, and you've got to look at policy. Some people would just disagree with you as to what populism is. Is it policy or is it rhetoric or is it both?
Well, exactly. And I would say furthermore that it like the very rhetoric of populism, it is defined by its creation of this dichotomy between the elite and some nebulous category known as the people. Both of
Yes.
them are really nebulous categories, and often the populists themselves are coming from elite positions. This has been the case since really ancient times.
Yes.
Populism has been a strategy that's worked in democracies since democracy first came into existence. Think of Cleon in Athens. Think of Julius Caesar. He was a populist, and all of them, or a lot of them, do tend to come from the elite classes, and they frame themselves as being sort of class traders, being like actually on the side of you, the people, uh, when in fact often it is just a rhetorical tool uh, to allow them to gain a position of power.
Yes. I agree with you completely. And there are many in my audience who will disagree, but I really appreciate you laying it out so clearly.
Thank you, David.
All right. There is Marcus from Manitoba dropping the hammer in a serious manner.